And so another year comes to an end in 2023. So yeah, let's look at the games that I played in the second half of the year to basically end this year off. So I didn't get to play too many games because again, I think I was busy with other games. I think the main culprit was probably still Farming Gauge. I was still playing that tons as well. I was also watching my brother play a lot of games too. So yeah, again, I didn't have too much time to play anything on my own time, I guess, except for Engage like I just mentioned. So yeah, won't be too many games to talk about here. So yeah, because of that, I want to share a few other things at the end of this episode as well. So yeah. So I guess let's kick things off with one game that I'm currently playing on the channel. I did have it written down here because I don't think I was expecting to do a playthrough of it this year, and that was of course Final Fates Conquest. Because I got it working on my laptop, so yeah. I did have a feeling that I could maybe be able to record, but then I tested it and I was able to. And because Final Fates, I found it a very interesting game at the latter half this year. That's why I really wanted to show up on the channel when I showed that I was able to record it. So that's why I'm not gonna go over my thoughts here now because that's what I'm currently doing in my playthrough. But again, Final Fates has been a very interesting game this year for me. And I can't wait to share more thoughts about it later as well, with more of the Conquest playthrough, because there's a lot of things I want to discuss too, especially in comparison to Farming Gauge, which is a game that I thought had some of the best gameplay in the game, but Fates comes a lot closer than I was expecting, so yeah. That's I can't wait to show that off. That's the only game here that I won't be talking about in detail, so yeah. I say let's just get started with this already. Let's talk about the first game that I played once the second half of the year rolled around. That first game I'm going to be talking about is the original Advance Wars 2. So, during this year, Reboot Camp came out, the remake for Advance Wars 1 2. And that was a pretty alright game, I'd say. I have heard very mixed things about it, but I do think after seeing a playthrough of it, I will say I'm generally positive about it, so yeah. And that motivated me to try Advance Wars 2 again. I did play Advance Wars 2 before, but the problem was that I was really bad at Advance Wars. It's tough. So yeah. But then again, watching a playthrough of Reboot Camp gave me the motivation to give Advance Wars 2 another go. This time my objective was pretty simple. Go through the normal campaign once again, but this time try to get the overall S rank. And by doing that, and to do that I decided to S rank every mission in the normal campaign. And that actually went decently well. It was pretty easy early on, but then things got really hard when I needed to look up strategies basically. Although these strategies basically gave me an idea of how to conquer the level. Not necessarily, like completely, defeat it and stuff. So So it gave me those ideas, which is good. And then I went from there, although some that's definitely proved quite troublesome. Like the Yellow Comet Factory, for example, I think was one of the hardest missions to S rank, for me personally. It took a lot of attempts to finally get the power score, I think it was, that I was struggling with. But once I figured out a good strategy, actually I figured out myself how to get the power score, but once I did that though, I felt really good about myself. That's the thing about Advance Wars 2. I feel like it's extremely difficult sometimes, even on normal campaign, but once you're able to figure out how to get an S rank though, it becomes super satisfying. And that's why, I kinda like playing through it. And of course it's really satisfying at the end, where again, well, the final two maps you have to fight off against Sturm, who I have a lot of feelings about Sturm, let's just say. So you have to fight against him, and he's completely overpowered. But in those final two maps, I managed to actually beat him pretty easily, so that was pretty cool. Because I basically kind of cheesed him in those last two maps. But again, it did still feel quite satisfying to do that to the AI, because again, the AI can feel very ruthless works sometimes. So yeah, it was good to get the upper hand on them by using some interesting strategies against them. So yeah. I haven't really talked about how Advance Wars works. It is a strategy game, although not an RPG. That's Fire Emblem's MO. And yeah, I feel like that's what makes it harder, because your plays, I feel like, matter a lot more when compared to Fire Emblem. So yeah, that's where, well, the difficulty comes in. You need to make sure you're using your... feels like you need to ultimately use your units way better when compared to Fire Emblem. You can't really... like, one wasted action on one of your units can have a massive impact, it feels like, so yeah. And also not creating the right unit at the right time as well. So yeah, again, I feel that's what makes it difficult, because yeah, there's a lot of factors you need to take into account too. Like, what is the enemy gonna build soon? What do they have now currently? All that good stuff. So yeah. Although one thing I will say to Advance Wars 2's credit, it has some really good missions in its normal campaign. And yeah, that's the highlight for me when it comes to these Advance Wars game, is their campaign, obviously. I feel like, yeah, the war and stuff is cool and all, but yeah, campaign mats are why I'm playing these games, I feel like, so yeah. And like I said, I think Advance Wars 2 has one of my favorite campaigns, mainly in terms of the missions, but also the fact that, yeah, you get to play as more of a cast when compared to like Advance Wars 1, because yeah, your battles take place all across all the continents, so yeah. That means that, yeah, you're using more of the COs and seeing them out, and all that. And yeah, single COs, yeah, I think that's what makes Advance Wars really fun for me as well. The COs are all very interesting, and some are really interesting to play as well, with their gimmicks and stuff. Of course, there's some very overpowered ones that I really like. The main ones are, of course, are Colin and Sensei. Colin for his cheaper units, and Sensei for his overpowered battle copters, so yeah. And infantry, don't forget those, so yeah. And of course, unlocking Sturm feels really good because, yeah, he's overpowered. He's completely unfair. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he has 20/20 stats, he can cross terrain, like they're nothing, with all his units, and yeah, his superpower is something. And yeah, that's another thing too, I guess. Advance Wars 2 does invent the superpower. So yeah, there's two powers you can use. You can use your normal power, you can use your superpower. And yeah, that was also a very interesting thing there too. Think about what powers are better to use than others. So yeah, I think one last thing too when it comes to the campaign as well, is that I kinda like the villains too. Of course, I really like Sturm. I feel like Sturm is a powerful villain done extremely well. Like, yeah, he really terrifies me. And yeah, I think that's what a good villain should be doing, because yeah, he just invokes so much fear with his presence and how he does against you in battle. And yeah, that's a sign of a good villain right there, I'd say. So yeah, that's why I quite like Sturm's villain, and his lackeys aren't too bad either. They're pretty interesting in their own right as well. With like Hawk and what he did at the end of the plot. Of course, Flak being an idiot and all that good stuff, so yeah, again, it's a really interesting class. And that also goes to the series on your side as well. They're also pretty fun characters that we know as well. So yeah. Now yeah, Advance Wars 2 is the only game in the series that I've played to completion. I might want to change that soon, but I guess we'll see. It has been a while since I did that Advance Wars 2 playthrough. Because there's of course Dual Strike and there's Days of Ruin. Days of Ruin I find really fascinating. I do like the soundtrack in that game a lot, so that's one thing about it. Dual Strike is a continuation of Advance Wars 2, so yeah, that's another interesting thing. Of course there's Reboot Camp as well, which is fine. But yeah, I didn't get it obviously. I wanted to get something else at that point, so yeah. For myself, so yeah. That's I got a different game for myself of course, so yeah. But yeah. Again, Advance Wars is really interesting. Again, I don't like it as much as Fire Emblem, because Fire Emblem is just a lot easier to pick up and play. But yeah, Advance Wars though does have its own little niche, it being a lot more difficult in my opinion, at least on, you know, when you're comparing the lowest difficulties and stuff. But yeah, it does feel very satisfying though conquering some really difficult maps in that, and then yeah, you get rewarded quite well, especially getting that S rank and being able to use stem and all that, it's awesome, so yeah. That's nice. But anyway, I think that's all I gotta say about Advance Wars 2, so let's move on to the next game. The next game we talk about is Pikmin 3, and this is actually the Switch version of the game because I decided to get this for my brother. And yeah, this also meant that we were able to use the multiplayer as well. So we did a multiplayer campaign. That was interesting. Because of the fact that we had multiple people in play, we were actually able to get through the game quicker. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of jumping ahead here. So, Pikmin 3 of course is an RTS game, and it's all about managing your squad of Pikmin and completing objectives. In Pikmin 3's case, the main objective is fruit gathering and also getting defeating bosses that allow you to progress to new areas. So yeah. And yeah, Pikmin 3 is actually a pretty fun game in its own right. Like, yeah, it's definitely not as difficult as Pikmin 2. That's what I'm sure, even though, yeah, there is a new higher difficulty in the Switch version. But yeah, it's still a satisfying game in its own right as well. And yeah, playing with my brother was fun too. I was definitely the less experienced one because I believe I think he already beat the game, I feel like, or he had more experience, it felt like. He's definitely much better at the Switch than I am, so yeah, he was the main one calling the shots basically. Meanwhile, I was basically there as like support. Still though, it was very fun stuff. I did actually have a fun time doing the playthrough because yeah, we definitely optimized really heavily with our plays, and that was a lot of fun too. So yeah. I guess other things too about Pikmin 2 is of course the different types of Pikmin of course. All of them have their own niches that you need to take into account, with the reds being good fighters and also being immune to fire, the blues which you get very late, they can swim, the yellows, they can reach higher places and they're immune to electricity, and there's the two new types of Pikmin, Pikmin 3, the rocks which are able to smash glass mainly. He also can't be crushed, and the very versatile flying Pikmin. And just like in Fire Emblem, the flyers are really overpowered because yeah, they save a lot of time with their flying, able to take a lot of shortcuts, but they're weak in combat but good against other flying enemies. So yeah, that got overpowered to be honest, and yeah, we definitely made a lot of use out of them in our playthrough with the optimization and stuff. So yeah. So like I said, it's a fun playthrough. Story is whatever. I feel like I don't know. I don't like it as much as Pikmin 1's story, where yeah, with Olaf being, you know, trapped on the island all by himself. But yeah, still though, it's an alright plot, and yeah, trying to get back all the fruit to save the home planet is pretty cool stuff, so yeah. And yeah, that's really all I gotta say about that. Another thing that happened too was I was able to watch my brother play the challenge mode, I think it's what it's called, where yeah, you have to it's basically like a day of sorts. And yeah, again, it's all about being you need to optimize your plays, obviously. You need to get the highest score, and yeah, he managed to get the highest rank in order, which is the platinum rank, and yeah, that definitely wore him out by the end. But yeah, it's interesting to see, and there's different types too. Some you collect treasures, some you have to defeat enemies, all that stuff, so yeah. And also defeat bosses, which is a lot easier, but yeah. But yeah, you also tried out the new higher difficulty of the game, which is Ultra Spicy. The main difference is that the amount of Pikmin you can have on the field is reduced. I believe it's 60 rather than 100. The days are slightly short, I think, as well. And also, yeah, use up your food supply quicker too. Actually, I don't remember if the days are longer or short or not, but yeah. That's interesting stuff. It didn't really make the game that much harder, because I think it also helped that, yeah, he did the playthrough with me as well, so he was already pretty fresh at that, but it was still an interesting watch. Again, he does like Pikmin a lot. I like this series, definitely not as much as him though. And yeah, I think the main reason why we wanted to give it a go was Pikmin 4. We didn't get Pikmin 4 this year, but yeah, it definitely seemed like a really nice game, and yeah, that was one that I think he was waiting for to be announced as well, because yeah, he did show me a lot of memes about Pikmin 4 not releasing, so yeah. But yeah though, very interesting game. It wasn't perfect because, again, the multiplayer does have its quirks, with, you know, being split screen and all that, and some weirdness going on because of that. So that's why, and I think also, I don't think we were the biggest fans of, like some things, like maybe the challenge and stuff. Again, I didn't give it the highest rating here, but still though, it was a fun game to play. I do recommend it if you want to get into the series. It is cool that the Switch now has all the games in this series now, which is nice. And yeah, that's really all I gotta say. Again, it's a series I'm not too familiar with. Not as much as, you know, other games, but yeah, still though, it's a fun one that I like to, you know, talk and discuss with my brother, which is always nice. I always love to hang out with him, so yeah. Again, it's a fun one, like I keep saying, and yeah, again, the multiplayer wasn't too bad. Again, it's not perfect, obviously. A lot of multiplayers in these kind of games aren't perfect, but yeah, it was fun to see what we were able to do with it as well, so yeah. Don't think I have much else to add about it. Yeah, like I said, it's a pretty good game, but I think Pikmin 4 seems like the better game. Judging by, well, the demo that my brother played, so yeah. I don't really have... That's the game I would go after first, but yeah. Pikmin 3 though, it's a solid game in this series. But yeah, you may also want to think about trying Pikmin 1 and 2 as well. I have played Pikmin 1 and 2, and yeah, I remember, you know, reaching a lot of Pikmin 2, but yeah, that didn't really happen in Pikmin 3, so that's good. So yeah. I say that's enough talking there, so yeah, let's move on to the next game now. Our next game we're going to talk about now is Gran Turismo 3. So yeah, I was able to beat this game for the first time, because yeah, this is another game from my childhood, and yeah, I've played this one a decent amount as well. A lot of funny things happened with it, I will say, but yeah. So yeah, Gran Turismo 3 of course is the sequel to Gran Turismo 2, and it's the first Gran Turismo game to come out for the PlayStation 2. And that's pretty mind-blowing too, the big graphical leap up when compared to the PS1 games, so yeah. This game, yeah, I think the main reason why it's so beloved and why I liked playing it too was the handling. It is a realistic driving model, but yeah, it does have some forgiveness, so you can definitely have a lot of fun too. It does feel like, yeah, cars are very grippy, and you're able to take good advantage of that. So yeah, it does prove a lot of fun to drive because of that, especially with a good setup as well. And yeah, that's the main thing that I do like. Also, I think another thing I like too was kind of the challenge. It can be a kind of challenging game at points, especially the early on. But yeah, sometimes though you can get a good race sometimes. A kind of a close one. But yeah, normally though I do get kind of overpowered, so I definitely complete the event. But yeah, still though, it was pretty funny. It was pretty fun to overcome the AI at points, I felt like. I felt like, yeah, the AI did put more of a fight here than they would in, like, GT2, for example, it feels like, so yeah, that was nice. Of course, yeah, the game looks amazing for a very early PS2 game as well, so yeah, that's also something else too. Definitely goes to show just how powerful a console it was, alongside some of the other games that came out early in its lifetime, like maybe in PS2, for example, so yeah. So that's a pretty good game. Its career mode is also not too bad too. It's the usual Gran Turismo mode. You still have your license tests, and I do like how the game is structured too. There are 5 different kinds of events. In different leagues. There's like a beginner league, a professional league, I think an amateur league actually, and then a professional league, an endurance league, and a rally league. So yeah. Those last 2 are more specialized stuff, but yeah. The beginner league, races are shorter. The cars that I used are less powerful and all that stuff. Then yeah, once you get up to the next tier though, things do get longer and more difficult obviously, and then of course Professional League, that's kind of like post-game, because you get the credits for being all the beginner and amateur league events, but then the Professional League, yeah, you don't get anything, so, and yeah, I think the Professional League is the main sell point. It's just that some of the races are way too long for the cars you're given. There's a lot of one-lane races, and a lot of very slow cars, of course. The Yaris race is what comes to mind when thinking about the Professional League, so yeah. And of course, another complaint that people generally have is how the beginning of the game is like. There aren't many star color choices, and picking a wrong one really sets you back. It's very difficult to get out of the hole that you think you're summoned to by picking a bad star, so yeah. So it doesn't feel as free as something like Gran Turismo 2 or even Gran Turismo 4. God, so yeah. Other than that though, because of the fun driving, it still proves a very fun game. Yeah, once I did get to the Professional League, I needed to do other things to help me concentrate, I guess, because yeah, like, you know, listen to music, maybe have a podcast in the background, those always help with those extremely long events, so yeah. Of course, well, it also helps, like, you know, like, music is what I use if I need to concentrate, but yeah, I can use a podcast if the race is gonna be an easy win. So yeah. Yeah, that isn't to say that the game's like boring or anything, it's just that, yeah, again, later on, when you have this 10-lap races and all that, you definitely get a little bit burnt out by it. It's also kind of a long game. It says my playtime is 120 hours, so yeah, again. And yeah, most of that is just driving around, which, yeah. Again, and the driving's fun, that's fine, but yeah. Again though, I do think that, yeah, I feel like, yeah, if the Pressure League didn't feel so grindy, I'd say it would be like a perfect Gran Turismo prelude, but still, it's very good. One of the best in the series, probably. I don't think I like it as much as Gran Turismo 2 and 4, but those games do hold a very special place in my heart, so yeah, I'm a bit biased in that regard, but still. I think, if you want to try a PS2 Gran Turismo game, Gran Turismo 3 is a very good choice. Even if, you know, its sequel is very popular. For good reason. And also, yeah, again, Gran Turismo 3 did scale things back when compared to Gran Turismo 2, there's much less cars. Only around like 150 to 200 I think, and yeah, there's also a lot of tracks. But the tracks themselves are still pretty good too. Most of them are fantasy tracks. And I believe, yeah, Laguna Seca is the only real life one in the game. I could be wrong about that, but yeah. That's the only one that comes to mind. But yeah. Still though, it's very fun to drive these tracks at the very fun driving models, so yeah, I don't really mind the lack of tracks to be honest, so yeah, I still like the game quite a lot because of that, and also yeah, the rounding's a lot more fun too, and compared to Gran Turismo 4. Gran Turismo 4 is quite challenging, so yeah, that's also another great thing about Gran Turismo 3 as well. So yeah, overall, I'm very glad that I was able to go back to this childhood gem of mine, and able to complete it and not make the stupid mistakes I did back then, and yeah. Managed to basically complete all the events. That was my main goal in that playthrough, and yeah, 120 hours later, I was able to do that, so yeah. And yeah, now that that's done, I've completed Gran Turismo 1 and 2, and 3. So yeah, now of course since Gran Turismo 4 is coming back, but I was able to have a taste of that game, just in a different flavor. Next game we could talk about is the Gran Turismo 4 Randomizer. So yeah, let's get Gran Turismo 4 out of the way first. Yeah, I think it's probably one of the most important games I've played in my life, and maybe the greatest game I've played too, in my opinion as well. Gran Turismo 4 is just such a special experience, and yeah, despite the fact that yeah, maybe the driving isn't as fun as Gran Turismo 3 at points, but yeah, I don't think that matters to me as much, because yeah, Gran Turismo 4 though is still fun to drive, and it has way more content too. So yeah, it proves a very special game because that, yeah, it can be a bit overrated, but there's a reason why it has its reputation, and why a randomizer came about, which yeah. And of course, I do want to try 100% at some point, but oh boy, will that be something. If you want 120 hours for Gran Turismo 3 was long, yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet with Gran Turismo 4, so yeah. Anyway, back to the randomizer. So how does the randomizer in Gran Turismo 4 work? So, basically every prize card is randomized, and it's based on the name you give to the profile. And yeah, as it turns out, the name I gave Rohad was good enough to beat the game any percent, so that was good. Because yeah, the main challenge to get to any percent is you need certain cards, because you need to reach the Gran Turismo World Championship. But in order to do that though, you need to get some very specific cards, and the main problems for me were getting a pickup truck for the sports truck series and a K car for the lightweight K car club. So yeah, you basically just win cars, use the car to win certain events that it's able to compete in, and then you just keep going from there. And yeah, you can still buy cars in this mod, but yeah, again, I wanted to see if it was possible to beat the game with just the random prize cars again, and yeah, that turned out to be the case, so yeah. Again, that was really fun. It definitely gave a spin on a game I really enjoyed, even though, yeah, I still haven't 100% it yet, so yeah. Again, it just gave me a good taste of what the game was like before I do delve into that big playthrough of mine, so yeah. That's the main reason why I wanted to play it too, and yeah, I thought it was a fun thing, because I saw a lot of other people playing it and getting all these random cars, and I was very curious to see what I would get to. So yeah, that's another reason why I wanted to give it a try myself. And yeah, I did end up with some pretty great cars in the obviously, like the Sauber C9 with the different sound that it makes, because yeah, this mod is kind of like a small part of a bigger project to basically like remaster the game or something like that. So yeah, that's impressive. Although yeah, I'm gonna be sticking with the OG version when I do my Anderson playthrough. That's just how I feel. So yeah, but yeah, still though, it was interesting to see what cars are coming across and see if there's like any difference to them and stuff compared to the base game and stuff. That was pretty cool. Like that Sauber C9 obviously. So yeah, that I used in the GT World Championship. So yeah. But yeah, again, it's still the game I know and love, but this time, yeah, all the prize cards being randomized does add an own unique, like, twist on it. So that's pretty cool stuff. And yeah, I guess that's another thing about it too. It does lead to you driving cars that you wouldn't otherwise think about as well. And that's another great thing about the randomizer too. Especially because Gran Turismo 4 does have an immense car list of around 800. So yeah. So there's a lot of stuff you can get there, and yeah, the randomizer also leaves some weird moments too, like maybe getting some duplicate cars. I got a lot of Mercedes 190Es, which is a car I like, but yeah. Again, getting duplicates like that can kind of stall your progress, but that's okay. Again, it's just fun. Dumb fun basically, the one, but hey. It does make me interested to go ahead and try Gran Turismo for myself, but yeah. Trying to get 100% though, yeah, it's gonna be a challenge, alright. Probably gonna be one of the hardest games to 100% like ever. So yeah. Yeah, then we got my work cut out for next year, that's for next one. But if I'm able to do that, that's definitely gonna be one of the big bucket lists of a life completed. So yeah. Again, it's something I really want to do, so yeah. Hopefully I will be able to do it next year, so yeah. With that done, yeah, let's go on to the next game. Next game up is R-Racing Evolution. So yeah, I already did a video about this game, so yeah, I don't need to be too long with this one. But anyway, R-Racing, as it's known as in the PAL version, because that's the version I played to almost completion, we'll get to that, but yeah, this is a racing game. This is a spin-off of the Ridge Racer series actually, but this time it's more of a realistic racer, like a Gran Turismo game. It's considered a Gran Turismo clone actually, so yeah, I guess it's kind of thing that would give it a go. But yeah, this game proved interesting in its own right. It does have that story mode, which yeah, again, it's nothing too special, but it was interesting to see more racing games trying to adopt this. Because yeah, more racing games, especially like some franchises like Need for Speed would always try to use a story mode, mostly to not successful turns, but hey, it's still interesting. Again, I feel like racing games, they're kind of a genre that doesn't need a story mode as much, but hey, I don't mind the fact that R-Racing tried to be different with it. But yeah, now I guess I can talk about some other things about the game too that I wasn't able to in that video that I did. The event challenges, they're pretty simple stuff. There's basically, you basically have to buy events in RP. And yeah, these are basically certain challenges. It's kind of like a challenge, I guess you could say. Basically, yeah, you need to win races or beat time trials and all that, and sometimes in more adverse conditions to you, like the single races in the event challenges, you're generally using a weaker car in a weaker class compared to your opponent, and you have to somehow beat them. For the most part, it works out well, but the problem is I was playing the PAL version of the game. The PAL version adds some new cars, and this kind of ruins the RR challenge events, because the opponents now get roof RGTs, which are way too powerful when compared to the Alpines and Fiat 500s you're forced to use, so yeah. That's why I wasn't able to get 100%, but I did get damn close, so yeah. I did manage to get every car. I ended up on 99.4 I do believe, so yeah. I did manage to unlock every car and actually upgrade every car, even though you didn't need to do that for 100%. That's something you use your RP for, and it's actually pretty good. Anyway, I said before and I'll say again, the driving is actually really good in R-Racing, to be honest. Like, yeah, it's kind of realistic too, but yeah, again, it's definitely not easy because, yeah, you need to get used to how the braking works. The steering can feel very heavy at first too. But yeah, once you tinker around with the things, the car maybe make it a little bit more boost, then yeah, it starts to become actually extremely fun. So yeah, I really enjoyed driving in this game, and especially getting good at it too. I feel like, yeah, this is a game that, yeah, the more I played it, the more interesting it became. So yeah, that's another reason why, that's the reason why I fell in love with the driving of the game, to be honest. So yeah. And yeah, despite the fact I didn't get 99 for 4, I didn't get to 100. I'm interested to try the NTSC version to make my life GTA percent a bit easier. And yeah, I can do it with the GameCube version too, so that's interesting as well. So yeah, because I did get a GameCube port, because yeah, like I said before, there's a PS2 version, a GameCube version, and an Xbox version. So yeah. So that's something to try out at some point later. We'll talk about the game again at that point, but yeah. Again, I find it kind of underrated, to be honest. Again, it didn't really get reviewed that well, because people didn't really like the driving. But yeah, again, I feel like the driving is the game's strong suit. Everything else about it's kind of weird and interesting, like the pressure meter on the opponents, for example. That was interesting. The lack of tracks is kind of a concern, but there are definitely some good ones. Maybe one of my favorite tracks in the world, Suzuka, being a good thing. So yeah, that was cool. But yeah, again, overall, I did say it before, but yeah, a very underrated game, and one I enjoyed more than I thought. A shame that I wasn't able to get up to 100% like that, but it's okay. Again, I could give it another go at another time, so yeah. That'll be something I think about the next year. But yeah, again, this is definitely a fun racing game. One of the more fun racing games I played this year too, even though pretty much all of them I really like, to be honest. So yeah. Especially those Tokyo Extreme Racing games, obviously, so yeah. But yeah, again though, this is a good game, and yeah, I'm not so sure why I like the drawing model so much. Again, I think it is just because, even though it does feel stiff, like I said, once you do get used to it and also tinker around with it, yeah, that's where it becomes fun. I do think it can compete well with Gran Turismo 4 for a very realistic feeling handling as well, and that was actually something I wasn't expecting, so yeah. I think that's enough said about R-Racing, so yeah, let's go on to the last game. The last game we need to talk about today is Super Mario Wonder. So, I wanted to get a game for myself and a game to play with my brother, and yeah, after chatting it up with him a little bit, I ended up on Super Mario Wonder to be the game I get for both of us for Christmas, aka the holidays, because it got a little bit early. But anyway, so Super Mario Wonder, I heard very good things about this game, how it's like a return to form for 2D Mario, so I was very interested in giving it a go because of that, especially my brother, because yeah, even though he wasn't like, he didn't really want to get the game for himself. But yeah, again, with that game having multiplayer, I thought, yeah, why not? Let's have some fun with that and see what all the hubbub is about. But anyway, it's your typical 2D Mario game, except for its Wonder gimmick, and also some of the power-ups, but yeah. The Wonder gimmick is what makes Mario Wonder the game that it is, obviously. So, you can grab these Wonder Flowers. Either they're just, you know, lying there in the level, or you need to scout them out. And yeah, getting them causes the level to become weird. Basically, you could transform into something, the enemies can transform into different things, they do different things as well. Like, yeah, all sorts of weird. Even like the level itself can do some weird stuff too, like pipes moving around and all that stuff. It's a very interesting game, shall we say. As for the levels themselves, there's actually quite a lot of things to do. You need to get Wonder Seeds, because you need them to progress. They're basically your, like, keys to the roadblocks, basically, to your progress. So you need to make sure you get them. You always get a Wonder Seed for being a level, but you also get one for, completing the Wonder section level. And yeah, there's even one for getting a secret exit too. And yeah, there are secret exits in this game. Some of them are kind of weird to find, not gonna lie. They definitely took some effort to find, that's what I'm sure, so yeah. And then, of course, there's another collectible, the 3 purple coins in each level that give you a lot. And these purple coins do have some interesting purposes. There's a shop and you can buy things in them. There isn't much to buy, 1-ups, and another new mechanic in this game, badges. So these badges can alter your abilities. The main ones we were using were the ones that affected movement. So yeah, there's some cool ones. The main three that we used was the float. The floating one. That one's pretty good. Of course, you're able to float after your jump in midair. That definitely helped us out a lot. Then afterwards we tried one where you can jump a little bit higher after a good jump. Like a well-timed jump. That one definitely helped out when we got into this world. And then the final one that we got was the spin jump. And the one that we used through the rest of the game. And yeah, that one felt really good to use too. Because I don't know, it just seemed very versatile, and we got a lot of use out of it because of that. So yeah, as for the other things about this game too, this game does have a lot of variety. It kind of feels like, what if you made a 2D Mario game, but you had some of the essence or DNA from Mario Odyssey? So yeah, there's a lot of different tasks, not just, you know, going through levels. There's even some like KO arenas where you fight enemies. There's even some break times where you do like mini games of sorts to get Wonder Seeds and all that. So yeah, again, the variety in Mario Wonder is pretty insane, not gonna lie. Also, the worlds are kind of cool too. You always see new enemies when you go to a new level, it feels like, and that's always a lot of fun too. And also communicate the gimmicks really well as well. The level design does feel very on point, but that is to be expected. Even the Mario, the new Mario games, the new Super games, should we say, those definitely had pretty good level design too. But yeah, this game does feel it feels more imaginative, I guess you could say. I think that's why a lot of people gravitate towards this game. So yeah, of course, there's another elephant in the room, the new power-ups. There's 3 main new power-ups. The elephant, which you get early on, it can do a couple of things, like it can use its trunk to whack things, it's better at pushing and grabbing, and it can even store water in its trunk, which is used for some puzzly things. There's the bubbles. It's kind of similar to a fire flower, but you can even use the bubbles to jump. And yeah, there was some interesting uses out of that between us. And finally, there's the drill, a very powerful one. You're able to drill up into the ceiling, which yeah, that does break some levels, it feels like. Yeah, even the drill on the top can be used to flush out enemies as well. It's just a really versatile power-up, and yeah, it was always a treat to get it in the late games, so yeah, that was awesome. But anyway, let's talk about progression, I guess, a little bit as well. So, it's a pretty chill game, as you'd probably expect. There are definitely some hard levels here and there hidden throughout, but yeah, otherwise though, it's a pretty chill experience. And even the final boss isn't too bad either, although yeah, Bowser though, I do like his role in this game, it's really epic. Especially after, you know, watching a certain Paper Mario 6-star video series, so yeah. But anyway, so that was fun. There's also the special world too. Those levels weren't too bad actually. The main tricky thing was the final level, where you need to use all the badges, and yeah, that one we gave over the one. So yeah, that just goes to show how kind of difficult it was. So yeah, but in the end, we were able to get 100% by also getting all the standees. Those are like collectibles you can use your purple coins on. And yeah, we did have fun with this. Again, controls well, and yeah, we also kind of like the level design too. That was like what I thought really. I felt like my brother was kind of miffed about the multiplayer not being the best, because yeah, again, this does feel like a single player focused game in some levels, because the other person is probably going to get left behind, but at least they don't die unless the ghost runs out of time, which is like the replacement for the bubbles in the new Super games. So yeah, so there's that. So yeah, again, I thought that was a really fun game. I was glad to play it with my brother on his break from university, so yeah. And yeah, of course, being able to hang out with him as well, that was always really nice. So yeah, again, that was a fun game. And it will also be interesting to hear his experience when he plays the game on his own, because it does seem interesting in doing that as well. So yeah, that'll also be interesting to hear about as well. And yeah, I can definitely see why this game was super popular as well during this year. I don't think it was as great as Fire Emblem Engage for if we're talking Nintendo games, but still though, it's a very nice return to form for Mario, and does go to show that yeah, 2D Mario still has a place even despite Odyssey and its major success. Even though, yeah, again, I'm not the biggest fan of Odyssey, but I definitely can't ignore the fact that, yeah, it was definitely quite a big step up in 3D Mario, at least for some people. So yeah. And that's the final game, but I still have some things I want to share. So that's all the games I played, but of course, one last thing I want to share though are what one of my favorite games I played this year, if it can all them. Of course, the main one for me was Tokyo Extreme Racer Trip 2. Again, that game meant so much to me when I played it earlier this year. And yeah, it was the main reason why I didn't play Fire Engage immediately once I got it, so yeah. That just goes to show how good of a game it was, so yeah. But of course, after that there has to be Fire Engage. Again, I'm definitely one of those people who think that, yeah, the good gameplay of the game was why I liked it so much. And yeah, I think another thing about Engage 2 was, because of its focus on gameplay being so good, it kind of made my opinion of Fates better as a result. So yeah, because again, Fates also has really good gameplay, so yeah. That's another great thing about Engage as well. And yeah, I would love to see what the next Fire Emblem game cooks up because of that. So yeah. And probably my third pick would probably be Trails of Cold Steel 2. Again, great sequel to Cold Steel 1, which is already a great game. And yeah, it kind of blew me away with its plot as well. And yeah, I really can't wait to see what the rest of the Cold Steel games get up to. But yeah, more on that in a bit. But anyway. So yeah, another thing I want to talk about here too are what games I'm looking forward to next year. There's two main things that are on my mind. The first one's a game we know is gonna happen, and another one is just a rumor. But yeah. Of course, the main game that comes to mind that I'm looking forward to next year is the Paper Mario 2 remake. Of course, Paper Mario 2 is, like Grim just said before, it's probably one of the most important games I played. A game that both is adored by me and my brother, so yeah, definitely something I'm gonna pick up at some point next year. I didn't get the Mario RPG remake, but yeah, I have heard some pretty good things about it too. That's another game I might consider in the future as well, but anyway. So yeah. Well, even playing the original Mario RPG on the channel, that's another thing that's going to mind as well, but anyway. Yeah, again, Paper Mario 2. It's definitely a great thing to see it get remade. Because again, once again, super important game, and yeah, I think the gameplay is just phenomenal, so yeah, once again, it's gonna be great to see that game once again. Even with some new things added too, that's something else I'm gonna be interested to look out for as well, so yeah. And yeah, of course, another thing that I could do next year as well is play the original Paper Mario, because yeah, it would be interesting to share my feelings about the series too, and yeah, maybe get people interested in that Paper Mario 2 remake as well. That's something on my mind as well. But anyway, the other game, this is a rumor, but I've heard some like interesting rumors. My brother doesn't really buy them, but of course, the Farm 4 remake. So the thing about that is that one fear I've heard, or wrong rumor I should be saying, is that it's being saved for the second half of the year, because you don't really know what Nintendo is cooking up for the second half of the year. The latest release you know of is Princess Peach Showtime, I do believe, so yeah. Again, that's one thing, and yeah, the leak for Fire Emblem Engage did mention that Fire Emblem 4 Remake is the next game, so yeah. We'll see, because again, I do think the original Fire Emblem 4 is still an amazing game, and any Fire Emblem player should at least give it a go. Like, I was one of those people who didn't like it at first, but then yeah, it really grew on me a lot, and yeah, the play from the channel too is also one of the ones I'm most proud of as well, so yeah. It's kind of got a special place in my heart because of that, so yeah. But yeah, that remake, yeah, it's gonna be interesting when it comes to next year. I mean, I wouldn't mind if it's another game in this series too, because yeah, even though remakes are cool, it is interesting to see new Fire Emblem characters and all that, and see what interesting gimmicks and map design happens as well, so yeah. Those are the main ones. There's probably some other games there too, but yeah, of course, those are the ones that are coming to mind. And now though, I want to reveal one more game I want to talk a little bit about, and then we're gonna go to the closing thoughts. So, I mentioned in the Mario Wonder section that I bought a game for myself, and one for me and my brother to play together. So you might be wondering what the game I got for myself was. Well, it was Trails from Zero, as most people will probably guess. Because yeah, again, I was hinting at the fact that yeah, I wanted to give the Crossbell games a go, and yeah, I'm able to. And this is interesting because I'm pretty sure that one of my friends also got this game too. It's actually his first game in the series too, so that's also going to be quite interesting too to discuss at a later point. And yeah, I'm definitely going to. I should mention this too. I haven't actually played it yet. I'm busy with Farm Fates at the moment because I'm doing 2 separate playthroughs of Conquest, and yeah, that's kind of eating all my time away. But anyway. But yeah, I haven't actually touched the game yet, but yeah, once I do though, it should be interesting. Because again, I'm very interested to see what happens in Crossbell, obviously. After, you know, Cold Still happen, so yeah. And it should be a very interesting time as well. And yeah, that'll also be the next big RPG I play as well, so that's also going to be very cool as well. And yeah, probably like I did with the Cold Still as well, I'm probably going to be making a video of my thoughts about it too, at some point once I be in it, because yeah, I'm still able to do that, so yeah. And yeah, it would be nice to get more attention on the Trails series as well, because again, the games are really good. I do quite like them quite a bit, so yeah. So that's enough about that. Let's go on to the closing thoughts for this video. So yeah, with that all done, that's all the games I played for the rest of this year. And yeah, I had to also mention how well the channel did this year too. Yeah, we had some amazing playthroughs. We started the year with Persona 3, and then we ended the year with Farm Fates, 2 very big projects of that's potential. So yeah. Oh man. And yeah, the channel grew a lot because of that, and yeah, I can't thank everyone enough. We managed to make it to 100 subscribers as well, which is quite the achievement. And yeah, we'll see what next year does for us as well. I do feel like the channel is at good momentum at the moment, so yeah, I can't wait to see what I'm able to do because of that, so yeah. And yeah, once again, can't thank everyone enough for, you know, adding to some meaningful discussions and stuff in the comments, and also, you know, just, you know, chatting about the games I'm playing as well. It's always fun to learn more about these games I'm playing, especially Farm Fates too. Time Crowd playing, getting a lot of attention on those videos, so yeah. As again, pretty good game series. So yeah, a pretty good series of games releasing. Anyway, and yeah, let's hope that yeah, 2024 is also a really good year as well. Again, definitely looking forward to some of the games coming out, and also maybe my future projects as well. There are definitely some interesting things to discuss once Conquest is over, and yeah, we will be sure to talk about those. So yeah. But yeah, once again, thanks everyone for making 2023 quite the amazing year for me. Again, this is a very fun year. A lot of Tokyo Extreme Racer, obviously, but also a lot of Fire Emblem too. And that's how I like it. A good balance between both Fire Emblem and racing games. And of course, I mean, I guess one other thing too is the fact that, yeah, I didn't really talk about Pokemon that much because this is kind of going off topic, but yeah, I didn't get the DLC for Scarlet and Violet, and probably won't. I'm kind of just eyeing for the next game at this point. I think the same one, but anyway, that's going off topic. Anyway, that's same things here. So yeah, look forward to what I have in store for next year. And yeah, again, at the moment, it's still gonna be Fire Emblem Fates Conquest, but after that though, we need to discuss some things. So yeah, look forward to that, and yeah, I'll see you guys again for whatever's coming up.